21st Century Learning Spaces, A Learning Space for Science Learners by Paula Stanton. Oblinger, 2005, identifies that one of the most important activities of a school is enabling a student learning. Traditionally, the place where students and teachers come together for formal learning was in the classroom. However, the internet has changed how we view places, time and space. Space is no longer just physical, it incorporates the virtual. In addition, new methods of teaching and learning which are based on improved understanding of cognition have also emerged. As a result, the traditional definition of the classroom has expanded and evolved not only to include the physical classroom, but other physical and virtual environments to facilitate learning. The traditional classroom is a teacher-centric environment designed for a one-to-many style of communication, and is typified by a teacher standing at the front of the lecture, students sitting at desks in rows, students taking notes on paper, limited support for technology, and it lacks flexibility and adaptability. And a traditional science lab was modelled much on the same principles. If you were to observe the traditional science lab, you would find students working either individually or in pairs on structured exercises or experiments. There was little to encourage the true explorative nature that is science. For today's learners, the technology natives, these sorts of environments lead to a low level of engagement. Today's learners have been described by Educational Origami 2011 as technology literate and adept, flexible and dynamic, communicators and collaborators, interactive and networked, creative and adaptive, student-centric, and they will learn anywhere, anytime. Information technology has been viewed by Wagner and Dubin 2009 as being largely responsible for the expansion of the classroom that has led us to now consider learning environments. Most classrooms now at least have the minimal set of technology equipment, network access, a projector, various media players, interactive whiteboards, and a computer. These technological aids bring more information, resources into teaching space, and they also extend the boundaries of the room, providing a link to other sources of information and to other places. In a sense, the addition of information technology in itself has begun to transform a space into an environment. My ideal classroom or learning space will consist of a distinct yet connected learning areas. It includes a lecture area, a group work area, independent study area, and a science lab area. Incorporated into each of these learning areas would be display spaces. These would include both real and virtual display spaces such as whiteboards, both interactive and traditional, student work examples, computer monitors and LCDs, word walls and topic displays. Each of these areas would provide for a different learning environment for students. Having allocated areas addresses the need for classrooms to be flexible, adaptive and networked. It provides an environment that can address the different learning styles of students. While the classroom can still be regarded as the core learning space, there is a host of new tools that have extended the classroom beyond the four walls of the school building. We no longer just focus on the classroom. We are using broader terms like learning spaces to capture the wider range of venues for teaching and learning. New conceptions of the classroom are being driven by the emergence of new methods of teaching and learning, made possible by the rapid evolution and adoption of information technology, wireless networking, and mobile computing, such as the use of wireless laptops and handhelds, makes possible a variety of collaborative learning activities. This is why the term classroom, at least in its traditional sense, can no longer encompass the teaching and learning options today. The use of social networks for today's teenagers is the essence of their social life. They meet and talk to friends, they organise their outings and source their general information from the internet and the social network sites such as Facebook. Research has shown that opportunities for students to come together outside formal class time to network, discuss and debate encourages student learning and can foster peer-to-peer learning. A study by Matthews, Adams and Gunaway 2009 found that students who used informal learning spaces reported higher levels of engagement compared to non-users, which suggests that informal learning spaces have a positive correlation with increased levels of student engagement. It is therefore a natural extension, then, to include social networks including blogs, wikis, Facebook and Twitter in the 21st century teacher's toolbox. Blogs are a creative way to communicate with students not only about assignments and class timetables, but also to link current events of the world to science curriculum, thereby making required learning content relevant and tangible and encourage discussion and debate. Wikis can also be a valuable tool to encourage peer interaction outside school walls. They can also be used as a virtual display space for students' learning. Social networks, if correctly integrated into the learning environment, provide much more than an electronic media for the transmission of information. They provide a vehicle for student engagement and learning. Another exciting option for students learning to use virtual worlds. These provide an immersive environment where users create a digital character or avatar and navigate through a world while interacting with real people from around the world and next door. This platform can be used in the science context to experience activities that in the real world would be too far away, too costly, or too dangerous, or they can be used to support the use of creative thinking. This unique technology can be used to spark excitement about science and lead young people to think of themselves as someone who might be able to make a contribution to the science world. The learning environment should encourage students to see themselves as active participants in learning. As the model of teaching and learning evolves from the transmission of information to the creation of knowledge, students and instructors become equal partners in the learning enterprise. The challenge for teachers today is to create a seamless, technology-enabled learning environment that addresses the use of all our learning spaces. In the current environment, a wider range of real and virtual spaces become a rich resource for support of teaching and learning.